What's going on, my bro?
What's up, man?
Man, it's good to see you, man.
See you too.
It's good to have you here. I've been waiting for this for a while, man.
I hope I don't disappoint.
Oh, bro, not at all. So just to introduce everybody, man, this is No Guards Needed. Thank you for tuning in. Again, this is just a show on how we find out who we are, how we got there, what we do, and why we do it. So I'm just going to start off by introducing the man, Edward. This dude, I mean, I say this all the time, and I know it might sound like fluff, but this guy is amazing. He's really First of all, I thought he was pretty cool off the bat just because I see what he does for the barbers. I see what he does for us. But I started doing some research, and there's a lot more stuff in here that's pretty amazing. But I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Edward and let him introduce himself.
Sure. So my name's Edward Ramirez, born and raised here in Fort Worth. Went to barber school very late, at 38, and then went out and worked for a shop and then eventually opened a shop. And now we have a couple shops, and then about 5 years ago, we opened a barber supply here in Fort Worth, and I think that kind of brings us to where we're at right about now.
Right about now.
Barber journey. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first, I want to get to know just like kind of who you are before we get into the business side of things.
Okay.
So 38, I didn't know that you got into barbering at 38. I'm actually 38 now.
Yeah.
I thought I got into it old at 28.
Yeah.
So that's another interesting fact. But so who were you before you were barbering, and what did you think your life was going to look like at that point?
Sure. So I kind of knew early on what I wanted to do, and it was photography. And so I did that in high school, freshman year. Went to work at a photo lab. This is back when we're using film and,
Like dark room type shit.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
Well, even general public was still using film. Like this is before digital, right?
Okay, dope.
So I went to work at a photo lab during high school. I was fortunate enough to go to a technical high school that offered photography. So I had transferred from another school. I was able to do, long story short, I was able to do photography 4 hours a day and then go to work.
Oh, dope.
So I didn't really...
This was in high school?
Yeah. So I really didn't have to I didn't have to do the classes anymore. Just because the school I transferred from, I picked up all my credits that I needed to graduate.
Okay, cool.
So the option was you can just go home and graduate early. And I said, no, I really want to take this photography program. And so I did that and then went to a photo lab after that. What I didn't realize was the photography teacher was a photographer for so many years, had a lot of contacts. And between those contacts and the contacts I met at the photo lab, I was able to get a job pretty much during high school at a studio, and while I wasn't able to physically be there because of school, I was able to jump in as soon as I got out of high school. So I was working for a few photographers during high school, after hours on the weekends and stuff. And then went to, at that time, one of the most popular studios here in Fort Worth. And it just killed it. Just had a great time. And obviously, you're not going to work for someone forever. Already kind of knew that about myself. And so a couple of years goes down the line, or a year and a half or so, I leave the studio, go to another more like private studio. Did that for about 5 years. And then I went out on my own and did it and enjoyed it, and it was great until, now digital's coming out. Now cameras are getting cheaper.
Everybody and their mama's taking pictures.
Yeah. To give you a little bit of reference, we were in Tarrant County, we were the second studio that had a digital camera that you could like take it mobile, like go outside.
Oh, dude.
And it was like 2 megapixels.
So we're talking like floppy disks.
No. It was more on the pro level.
Okay.
But it was, we were technically the second studio that had one in Tarrant County. It was 2 megapixels. It cost like $12,000. It was crazy. Yeah. I mean, back then nobody wanted to make the investment. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Too much. Then you got to have the computer power to push it. Mm-hmm. And this is before YouTube. I mean, you couldn't go to YouTube and say, how do you process this?
Yeah.
That
There's no ChatGPT back then.
So a lot of late nights. But the advantage of that is now you're the one that's doing all the work and figuring it out. And so when the wave comes, you're ahead of the wave. Mm-hmm. So from there to about 2008 when that crash came.
Yes.
Housing crash.
When I graduated.
Everyone, a lot of adults were out of work, and a lot of people picked up cameras, and you may kind of recognize this from the barber industry, but when you have that many people coming into an industry, it's almost a race to the bottom. It's almost right. It's
now,
almost.
Can you expand on race to the bottom?
Absolutely. And it's not anything new. People have done it forever. That's done any kind of selling or retelling. But basically, it's a reference to, let's see who could be the cheapest, the fastest.
Got you.
So, and what you're doing is you're muddying the industry, or
bringing down the quality.
You're bringing everything down, right? Yeah. So, and it's not about let's charge the most we can for let's try to kill, take advantage of customers or anything. It's just there's got to be a standard. There's got to be a medium or a median. So when all those moms came in, and I want to just blame it on moms. It didn't moms. It was back then they were called mom photographers, right?
I got you.
When all these new people came in, and they're like, yeah, I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll do it for $50 and shit. And now, and then you have professionals that are trying to keep their standard up.
So it sounds like you're competing with somebody who's making pocket cash versus somebody who's trying to feed their family.
Exactly. And I guess you can kind of relate it now to, let's look at barbers that are actually trying to build a shop or build a business as compared to the barbers that are doing it as a side hustle. Yeah, right?
Cutting out the garage or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They don't have the same overhead. They don't have the same, they don't pay rent. They're living at home with parents.
Shit, they don't pay taxes half the time.
Exactly. So it was real tricky because around that time was also the time that like Pinterest came out and some of those social sites. And so what it shifted for me, what I started seeing was in the early days, customers would come to me because I want to book you because no one can shoot like this or no one can see this the way you see it, right? Kind of your creativity. Yeah. Once after 2008, it became, can you shoot these 20 or 30 pictures from Pinterest that I've downloaded? And so really, you're not paying me for the creativity.
I was literally about to say, it's like you're taking everything out of it. Yeah, that's boring.
And that's when it wasn't fun anymore.
For sure.
And so I was like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So it's time to do something else.
Okay.
Because I'd always said if I wasn't passionate about it, I didn't want to do it.
What's the point? Especially when it comes to creativity.
Yeah.
Like that's a shooting yourself in the foot constantly. Yeah, absolutely.
So unfortunately I was stuck there for a little while because I just didn't know what I wanted to do or where to go next. So I did it for a few years without the passion and got burned out real fast. And,
for sure.
And just didn't want to
do it. How can you, and just quick, like how did that burnout happen? Like how did you feel? Like, was it like sitting down, just being like, dude, like, what am I doing with my life? Or was it just like an abrupt, I can't do this anymore?
I say it was abrupt, but it took me a while to like figure something out.
Fair enough. Okay.
But it was, absolutely at the very end, I don't care what you paid me. It wouldn't be worth it.
Damn, that's sad. That sucks.
Yeah. So, they're offering a lot. And you're
just like, I can't do this.
I just don't want to do it. Yeah.
Damn. At least you're honest to yourself, dude. Not a lot of people are honest.
It took a while, right? To convince myself. But I brought that into the barbering stuff, and particularly with barbers that are just starting. And, I try to instill that early on, like, look, we don't want you to get burned out. This is what causes burnout,
Right.
And I know someone told me that when I first started. I remember I didn't pay attention,
Of course. As young men.
I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know what it meant. I was like, I could do this forever. Like, this is where I want to be. So I get that. But I really try to instill, that the guys take lunch breaks. And when they do that, go get out of the shop.
Yes.
Don't take it in the back. Like,
Separate yourself.
Absolutely. Take a breather. And, we've all done it. We've all done the fast food restaurants growing up or working at those places. And, you get 30 minutes.
Yep.
And it takes you 10 to 15 minutes just to get
your food. You can't even relax. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely, bro. And by the time you're eating, if you get a chance to eat, Yeah, absolutely.
So I didn't want that to roll over. Not that there was any chance of that rolling over. Back then, barbers were so used to like the Booth brand and come and go as you please.
Right.
But I wanted to create a system that was efficient. And part of that efficiency was get out of here take a mental break.
Roger that.
That kind of thing.
Yes,
so,
sir.
That's just a part of the process. So
that's huge.
So that's where that came from. So
I appreciate that because I remember when I was managing some salons when I first started cutting hair, that was one thing that I was really adamant about my stylist getting out. I was like, I don't want to work. I don't want to take my lunch break. No, you need to go take your lunch break because that attitude you gave me last week is because your ass worked for 6 weeks without taking a break.
Absolutely. That's right.
I don't need all of that. I need you to be here, be okay, take your ass somewhere else, calm down, and come back.
Yep. That's right.
Absolutely. So I appreciate that. Now, you got burnt out. When did barbering come into play? How did that hit you?
So, like I said, I was so burned out. I was like, what am I going to do next? And I just happened to start going to a barber. I did not go to a barber growing up. I didn't. Okay. I think I went like one time while I was a kid. I love that. So, and of course they scout me and I was like, I'm never going back, that kind of thing. And
I heard, bad experience. And
it was probably an awesome cut, honestly. Like, I don't remember. I just blocked it out, but, so I never went back. So, I didn't go till about 37-ish when I started growing a beard.
Okay.
Before that, I would just shave it off, Right. And there was someone that I went to school with, that had a shop, and of course I don't know any barbers, and I was like, at least I know her, and
hell yeah.
So I stopped in, and it looked great, and I was like, okay, well, this is cool. So now I felt my hair grows really fast, so I needed to cut every week. So I would see her every week, and there'd always be a line of people waiting. And I would go like at 10 in the morning,
still line.
It's still line.
Damn.
And,
so I'm talking about.
And in my head, I'm like, in my head of, my business was based on schedules.
Right.
When I was shooting weddings, you had to be there at a certain time. There's no excuse, right? When it comes to someone's wedding and stuff.
Absolutely.
And so when I would see people waiting around like that, it tells me they have nowhere else to go, nothing to do. Right.
Got you.
You can sit here for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. There's something's wrong. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't any structure on the business side either. Or at least that's the way I felt. So I would ask, like, what happens at the end of the day? Eventually time runs out.
For sure.
And she said, they just come back tomorrow. And to me, I was like, I can't work that way.
Yeah.
As an owner, I couldn't work. For
sure.
So that's when I was kind of like, you know what? That's a supply and demand issue.
Yep.
To me.
Yep.
In my opinion. My response would be, let's raise the price and lower the demand a little bit.
Heard. Because then the stragglers will kind of weed themselves away and be a little bit more structured. Absolutely.
And, she'd been doing it 18 years, and she said, if I raise them, my clients will go away. And I thought that was true at that time because I didn't know the industry.
Dude, that is a constant fear with a lot of barbers. That price range, people are so afraid for that. And I hear that.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Now, what I didn't know, because I wasn't paying attention, to me, the services I was getting had a value in my head.
Okay.
Right? And I never looked at what stuff cost. I just gave her what I felt was more than what I thought was enough.
Okay. Heard.
And she never said a word about it, and I never thought to ask. And turns out I was paying like double what her normal rate was.
Okay.
In my head, as a business owner, this is just part of my cost of doing business.
Well, you also were a previous business owner before that as well.
Right.
So you had a better understanding of that.
So when I factor in my cost to do a service, in this case was photography, that whatever I did that weekend paid for that haircut. Right. It's just the cost of doing the business. Absolutely. So in my head, I had this value, and that's just what I gave her, and then everything was great and no big deal. Didn't even think twice about it because my customer was paying for it,
Absolutely. I hear that. Yeah, right? For sure.
Okay. So, we had a few conversations while I was in the chair, and I was like, why don't you just raise your prices by $5? Mm-hmm. Well, let me back up. I found out what she was charging, and it was like $15 for a haircut, $25 total for a cut and shave.
When was this?
Yeah. It wasn't that long ago.
Oh my God.
It sounds long ago now, right? But what are we in 20?
Yeah. So what, 10 years ago, maybe?
Yeah. Cause that's kind of when I started, right?
Oh, that's crazy.
And I'm like, no wonder there's a line.
Yeah.
I said, if you just I was doing simple math. If you just raise your price by $5.
Yes.
And for every 3 haircuts, it's almost as if
she was working herself in the ground.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
At least in my opinion,
that's
right?
my perspective.
Now it's kind of easy to say that, and it's because we're exposed to so much information
Fair
now.
Enough. Right.
Back then, people weren't sharing their stories or didn't have a way to share their stories.
True.
And you've only learned what the previous owner taught you.
True.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to sound like I'm bad mouthing someone in particular. The math didn't make any sense for me at that where I was. Right. So I said, the whole goal was I'm going to open a shop and no one's going to have to wait for a haircut. That was just the basis. Okay. Or the base goal. And I said, but I don't want to open a shop and not know how to cut hair, because as a photographer, I had worked for owners that didn't know photography, that built studios and didn't build them the way a photographer would have built them. Right? Yep. And that's very frustrating, when you're a creative in a space that's not built for a creative. Yes, sir. Just the basic necessities. Absolutely. So I said, I'm going to go to barber school and get a license so that if everyone hates me or whatever, at least I could pay the bills, with the haircut, cutting myself. That's awesome. So, and then of course I get there, and 2 months in, I'm like, this is cool. This is it. Yeah. Hell yeah. So then it was now it's time to start focusing. Let's get this license. Let's get the plan for after that and kind of go from there. And that's how my barbering journey started. So I did not grow up cutting hair. I didn't have clippers. I never played. That's similar to my story. Didn't even turn them on until I got to barber school. I'd never touched a pair of clippers until I went to barber school. Yeah, absolutely. So that's your why. And that's your what, right? Like why you opened a district and what you were trying to do differently is making sure that nobody had to wait for a haircut. Yeah. That was your main thing. That was it. I love that. That's awesome. And then after you opened the shop, what was your first oh shit moment? What oh damn, I have a shop. This is for real. So I've never been and even probably till recently, okay, this is cool. I've got a shop. No, I've just looked at it as a step. So, okay. It's almost like never being satisfied. And I don't know if that's good. No, dude, I get that. My wife and I talk about that with me. I get it. I don't think it's a good thing to have. But it just, to me, was just, okay, this is the next step to getting to somewhere else. I want to dig into that because I don't necessarily think I think that everything is gray, right? There's a good and a bad. So I don't think that desire to be okay, this is just a step for the next thing. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I think it can be a bad thing. Sure. If you don't ever take a step back and be, I guess, give yourself ownership and pride. I actually did this. Yeah. I think I think we deserve that as humans to give ourselves a pat on the back, even though I know that's hard as shit for me. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I think it's never finished. So I think I'm just constantly going. Yeah. Do you ever take a step back and maybe sit down and talk to your wife and be man, I'm doing well? No. I don't feel like we're not doing well. I just don't feel like I think it's just another step in the process. So never satisfied. Yeah, that's why I think it's kind of crazy. It's not a bad thing though, man. I don't know. People, different strokes for different folks. So and I don't, she'll tell you we built a shop every year on the year, it got crazy for a little while, and that's not healthy. But going too hard, too fast, right? That's that whole find that middle ground. Correct. So, okay, I hear that. So for the past few years, we've kind of slowed down on some things. But what my goal is, I'm just trying to set up these systems so that one, you could take time away and kind of really, and then also there's something left over, right, for the family. For sure. So I think we're much closer than I was, 5 or 6 years ago. And now I feel like the systems have already proven themselves. Now it's just about maintaining the system. And And now I think I'm definitely a lot closer there now than I was just a few years ago mentally. Like,
yes.
Okay, I think it's almost time.
Okay. How does that feel?
It feels cool. I mean, it was a little weird, right?
For sure.
But your body is telling you, like slow down. Like, like I don't walk as fast anymore. I don't know.
Let's go.
I don't process this.
I mean, I hear that.
Just kind of like I'll get there when I get there.
Yeah.
And part of that is, okay, let's take a break.
Yeah. I hear that. Yeah. So I know my wife is a big part of everything I do. Yeah. So, and I know that, Amy, you work with Amy. I met Amy. She's amazing. So what is it like building a business with your wife?
So I was opposed to it the first going to the barbershops. Like, I was like, I know what I want. I know how to do this. Very hard-headed. And then when we did the supply, it was like, we should have been doing this a long time ago, Dude,
that's awesome.
So it just, it's you hear it all the time. Two heads are better than one.
Absolutely.
And I think in her case, and even in my case, I mean, kind of, we had an outsider's perspective.
Heard.
Right? We didn't work in a shop for 20 years and open one. We just had a fresh set of eyes looking at it and had some different goals. I felt like my goals were customer based.
Yes, that's one big thing I've seen.
And I think it's just kind of extended and still the same. And obviously you want to have your barbers' backs and support them. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, it's without the customer, we're nothing.
You have no, I tell my customers that a lot of times when they thank me, I'm like, no, man, thank you. Without you, my kids ain't eating.
Exactly.
Exactly. I appreciate you guys so much.
Yeah. So having that outside perspective and putting the customer, I mean, it's just we kind of did things just a little bit differently.
So how do you guys, when you're working in a business, how do you guys disagree and how does that work?
We're pretty on track with each other. I mean, a lot of times we know what we're talking about by just a few mumbles or a few, that kind of thing.
Heck yeah.
But obviously there's times when we disagree, but it's just not like I'm very much like, okay, after we leave work or after it's done.
It's done.
Yeah. And we'll figure it out or whatever. Yeah. And I always kind of feel like if we made a mistake, let's fix it on the next go round.
Right.
Let's not really like dwell on that mistake for a long time.
Right.
When it comes to business, we'll figure it out.
Because I've learned with my wife generally, man, because me and her are on the same page most of the time. And that's what I found out when we disagree. I would honestly say like 90% of the time it's because we want the same thing. We're just coming at it from two different ways. Sure. And our words aren't.
Yes.
There's maybe some emotions involved or something.
Absolutely.
But we have to take a step back and then come back to it. And then we're like, oh shit, okay, we're on the same page. We're just, either one, I can be hard headed. Yes. Not gonna lie. I can be real stubborn, and so can my wife. Yeah. So sometimes that butts, but I think, like you said, taking a step back, especially when you leave the situation, leaving it there and maybe readdressing it later. Yeah. Hell yeah.
And I think, if someone were to ask me, how do you make that happen? Or what's the best way to work with spouses?
Yeah, dude. Because it's huge.
I would totally suggest get that figured out before you start opening a business.
Word.
Don't open a business and try to figure it out.
Get
all your stuff figured out beforehand. And and a lot of people don't know that they have issues with each other, right?
For sure.
They're up in those situations.
Absolutely.
The stress and stuff. But try to focus on that first. Focus on your problem solving skills before you walk into a bunch of problems.
Right. That's a way to protect your marriage right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Then you guys both know from the jump you're on the same page, the same goal, and you may have two different solutions, but you're not fighting at each other or with each other. You're fighting the problem, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing I would suggest, just because hey, we've been there, done that, and
dope.
So,
dude, I love that. I think that's something that's important to me because, I want to start something I want my wife to be a part of what I do. And I see how you guys work. And even my wife, when she's met you and Amy just a couple times, dude, my wife is such a good judge of character. Yes. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, she sees how you guys work and she's also my wife is definitely one of those people that, she's not an easy friend, maker.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because she has some pretty high standards. Yeah. I trust her a lot. Yeah. And she sees how you guys work. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that. And that's why I'm kind of I think that's good for people to hear who want that kind of stuff. Yep. I don't think we talk about that kind of stuff enough.
I don't think so either. Yeah, for sure. I mean,
talk about marriage and how that works, especially dudes. Sometimes we don't get into those things. So I kind of like to lean into that.
Sure.
So I
don't know if we definitely don't talk. I didn't know about it. Mm-hmm. I didn't know I had problems. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, of course.
But as you kind of see it in your kids, like, God, I recognize that attitude.
Yo. Straight up.
Some people don't have that person to tell them. Right. So it's not all their fault.
Right. Right. Speaking of the kids, I saw you're so right about that, because my kid forget, like, she'll just like forget shit, little things. And my wife will be like, that's you. And I'm like, yeah, you fucking, yeah. You're right. Yeah, so when it comes to, I know that, so you also have the barbershop, or you started with the barbershops, and then you opened up a supply shop. Yeah. So I did some research and come to find out that you opened it because another barbershop another supply shut down, and you kind of saw a hole that needed to be filled. That's right. So bring us down that journey.
Yeah. So it's pretty simple. We're here at the barbershops, and we're going to a local supply lady, and she'd been there 30 or 40 years. And she was the one few places. I mean, I didn't know that this was uncommon to have. Mm-hmm. We're pretty spoiled here in Fort Worth. She had all the blades we needed, the machines and stuff. Now, at the time, Babless was just kind of coming out with that gold T-liner, or the skeleton. Yep. And she picked up the previous line of Babless, which was junk, and it basically killed her. I don't want to say it killed her business, but it definitely stung. Yes. Right. And she vowed to never carry Babless again. Right. So got you. And this was all that turning point of
when they started having the barber influencers and all that good stuff.
And so while, and again, she was in their 70s, maybe even 80s. So while that was going on, she had also threw out there like, hey, I'm going to retire like next year or something. And I was like, okay. So in my head, like, what are we going to do? Right? Amazon doesn't have what we need. True. The barber specific stuff, yes, right? Absolutely. Amazon doesn't have what we need. Sally's definitely doesn't have what we need. No. What are
Armstrong McCall?
Yeah. What are our options?
RPM or whatever.
RDA.
Yeah.
And again, this is before Stylecraft. Yep. This is before Babless becoming very, very popular. So we had Wall and Oster.
Yep.
Right? And
that's it. Yeah.
To this day, they're not really coming out with a whole lot of new blades, right? So we had the basics, and that's kind of what we worked with. And every now and then, one of them would come out with a new color. Yep. But it's very rare. And again, this is a long time ago. So I say it was only 6 years ago, kind of when this thing, started or whatever. So, so in my head, I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to retire, where are we going to go? And then COVID hit. And during COVID, my wife, Amy, was like, we need to supply the shops with all the required stuff that COVID is requiring now. The personal protection stuff, the soaps, the basics, right? And at that time, when was COVID?
2020?
2020? Yeah. Okay. So at that time, you couldn't get Barberside, you couldn't get soaps. Got it. The grocery stores had limits on what you could buy. Yep. And the beauty salon places that had Barberside had limits. Yep. So what she would do is she would drive around and literally get her daily limit. Bruh. And then she would take someone with her, get their daily limit, right? Just so that our shops needed.
Dedication.
Taking her, 80-year-old parents to Costco to
so they can get their limit.
I mean, we had to supply our house. Yeah, dude. Had to supply the two shops.
Yeah, dude. The hustle is real.
Yeah. So, so in between there, somewhere, I spoke to the supply lady, and she said, COVID obviously there's nothing coming back, right?
Yes.
She was already going to retire. She's like, we're not, after COVID, we're just going to sell what we got and we're done. And I said, okay. So Amy happened to find a few barber supply type stuff. And I was like, if no one takes over her business or whatever, there's going to be a hole here. Like these barbers are spoiled by being able to go down the street and get this stuff. So we started reaching out to the manufacturers and to some companies. And I said this all along, if we're going to do this, we need to have the newest stuff, the legit stuff. And part of that was because she didn't have the babbler stuff, the cool stuff,
the popular stuff.
Stuff people were wanting. And our first, we just hammered on Tomb. At the time, Tomb had to make the new power charging mats.
Yeah, the power charging. Yep.
I didn't know who Bossio was. I didn't watch the YouTube stuff.
Right.
Because again, I wasn't trying to be a barber or anything.
I heard. Like an influencer or anything like that. Absolutely.
Wasn't paying any attention. But I knew that the brand looked cool. The concept was cool. And it was just different, right? For the time and stuff. So we were hammering at Tomb, and of course, everyone at the gate is no. Of course. Yeah. And I didn't realize this, but they get hammered every day by barbers.
Right.
Trying to say,
I want to be an influencer. Can I get a hookup? Can I do this?
I want to be a distributor, but I want to buy 3 pieces, or something like that.
Yeah.
And finally the sales guy's like, look, I'm driving through Fort Worth, or I'm kind of getting close. I'll stop by. We'll talk. And so we stopped. He stopped in. I brought him here. I gave him a haircut. We went to go eat afterwards, and you just got to really know each other.
Yeah, kind of build that rapport.
Yeah, and he's like, you know what? I see you guys. I know you guys. What I didn't know at the time was that our values on education really coincided well with Tomb's value on education.
Got it.
So we had a lot of core values, kind of common values.
Heard.
And my big thing was, because again, I came from an industry that had a lot of time behind it, and I've been through that burnout stage. And one thing that was instilled at one of the first studios I worked at was continuing education. Right. They would send us to seminars because just because you're the best in the city doesn't mean you can't learn from somebody else. Yes. Yeah. And I was like, that makes sense, because I was standing next to other photographers that you could tell that they were complacent and just weren't trying as hard anymore. And I was like, I just never want to be that guy. Right. Yeah. So they would send us to seminars and conventions and workshops. And so when I opened the shop, that's one thing I wanted to start right away was, like, I know you guys are just kids. And literally they were like 20-year-olds coming out of barber school. Right. They were working at the shop. Yeah. And I was like, I know you don't know this yet. You don't feel this yet. Yes. But we have to take these classes. Yes. To kind of get refreshed, right? Right. Because they were hustling. I think they made $100,000 their first year, right out of barber school.
Fuck yeah, right? Man. Come on.
So they were hustling. They knew the hustle. They knew they had to hustle to make it happen. And what that does is just loads your books. Yep. Your repetitive clients, the same thing over and over. Yep. You get better at those clients, but you don't get exposed to different things, right? Yes, sir. So immediately, that's what we wanted to do, and make that a deal with our shop is we're bringing in educators, to just train us, because it all happens to all of us. So when we hooked up with Tomb, as soon as we got approved, immediately I got on the phone and said, okay, we need an educator to come to the store or whatever. And now I kind of heard about Bossio at this time, because again, it wasn't like a fast process. And I was like, well, we'll take Bossio. And he's like, no. We're not giving you Bossio.
Right out the gate, right? Yeah, heard.
We're going to send one of our other guys. Okay. And I was like, all right, well, we're not going to be greedy. Whatever. Again, because I didn't know anyone. That's just who I recognized. And
that's hilarious.
That's pretty funny. So they sent this guy, and we actually had it here. We set up in the corner like a little area for barber tools, and I'm kind of skipping over a little bit, but that was our introduction to the online space, or to the world, basically.
To the Instagram, and
to whatever,
all that stuff. Hey, the social media stuff.
Yeah, we're Fort Worth Barber Supply.
Heard.
the guy they sent was a guy named Sean
Sean Cuts?
Ralston.
Yeah.
Sean Cuts
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Back then he was just Sean.
Yep. Yep.
And what I did, I could tell he was a little nervous. And this is funny. I still remember he was a little nervous. And I was like, I don't know if this guy's like, in my head, I'm like, I don't know if this guy's been doing it that long. Well, I found out later that was his first class. Yeah, it was. So it was our first class.
That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah. So we had that connection, and I'm like, yeah, I thought, he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Just the flow was
presenting
right.
it. That can be nerve wracking. Yeah.
I think for a while he kind of sat in the chair, just like, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah. Help me help myself, man.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So that's where the education piece came into the Barber Supply. It started way back, and then it brought it to the barbershops.
Okay.
And that's how that got there. But as far to answer your question about the supply stuff, so as we started talking, so once TUM approved us, we're like, okay, hey, we're technically official distributors now.
Okay, of TUM 45.
So
Dope.
now we're going to the clipper companies, and now they're like, maybe, kind of.
Okay.
Wall was very specific at the time. They're like, you know what? Unless you have a space and a lease, and
okay,
make
yeah,
sure you're not just selling out of the trunk of your car,
right?
We're not interested.
Fair.
And so somewhere in there.
So I'm assuming this started in your garage or something.
So it started in our living room.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. That's what I was trying to put together.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we knew that we wanted to have a space.
Yes.
It's never about let's be the cheapest and be the.
Of course.
We're not going to
of quality.
We're not going to race to the bottom.
Right.
We're not trying to race to the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. So, but Wall's like, no, again. I mean, no, all the time. Right. Finally, somewhere along the way, and Amy could really kind of explain this correctly, but I believe we had a salesperson that put in a good word with Andis. And basically, Andis is, again, they're like, who are these guys? Like, there's nobody, there's no history, there's no nothing. Mm-hmm. But they all knew they were losing the distributor in town. And so now there's a little bit of an urge.
Right.
Like, they got to find somebody
to fill that hole. Yeah, dude.
We had even gone to this lady that was selling supplies and said, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't I pay you for your distributorship? Add us as an account. Just extend it.
Yeah.
And all the distributors were on board with that. Mm-hmm. And she's like, no, I'm going to either sell the whole business or I'm going to not, just keep it all.
Okay.
Kind of thing. And
she put you against the wall a little bit.
Okay, I guess we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, someone didn't extend her business. Right? Someone didn't buy it. Someone didn't. So now the distributor's like, okay, we got a hole. We got to fill.
Okay, dope.
And
you had been knocking on enough doors.
We'd been knocking, but still didn't have much to show.
Okay,
right?
Heard.
We had a little website, had a little bit of social stuff going on, nothing crazy. And it all almost happened at the same time. So we said, oh, yeah, well, Bablis approved us. So I was like, wait a minute, Bablis approved you. Then,
you become a competition. Yeah.
Now, Bablis had officially approved us.
Okay.
So we didn't lie about it.
Yeah.
But then they started, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
They approved you, then obviously you passed.
You're legit.
Whatever. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. So, and then we had a lease in place and
Let's go.
Something legit to show. And that's where that started. And then it just, okay, now it's time to get to work.
Now everything just kind of.
Yeah. Now we started ordering the stuff and getting it here. And then it's time to open the store. So,
dude, let's go, man.
Yeah,
so basically, you saw this need, and you didn't give up. That's what I hear, is that you didn't give up. You kept trying and trying and trying until finally everything kind of like clicked.
Yeah. I mean, if there'd been a better option, we probably would have gave up. We would have went back to shops or something.
That's true.
If I felt like if I can't improve something, then we're not.
Then what's the point of doing it? I hear that.
I don't know if that's crazy either, but but no one was doing anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of people talked, but no one was doing anything. So,
dude, that's awesome. So what I've noticed that stands out about you is that you focus on growth.
Yeah.
A lot. Growth, culture, and quality.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things that I hear consistently as you're speaking. Mm-hmm. So given that you also have a lot of care in there, where did your heart for, like, because I hear a lot of community, I hear a lot of culture. So where did that passion for those things kind of come from?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't know if it was just, obviously growing up, I didn't understand customer service or never thought about customer service. Back when I was growing up, people actually cared about the jobs they had.
Fair.
Even the McDonald's jobs, right?
Yeah.
The people in the window.
Absolutely.
Or, hey, good to see you, or whatever. Now, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah. So I don't want to say that, I saw a lack of customer service, and that's what but what I did see was when I became a photographer, is the solutions you provide, or I say solutions, that's probably not the right word. The service that you provide relieves so many problems. This is kind of crazy. Let me back up a little bit.
Okay.
So let's say someone comes to us for a family session.
Yes.
We're taught early on, if the mom's not happy, nobody's happy.
Facts.
In the photograph. Right?
Yeah.
And we're selling portraits. Back then, you would buy pictures. Back then, right?
I remember taking them pictures back in the day, dude. Yeah. I remember that.
Okay, so it's so in order to sell portraits, you had to make the mom look great in the photograph.
Fair.
Right? Well, what that does a few things, right? Mom's happy. She's got a great portrait of her family. She looks great in it. That solves that idea for her. Right. So now that mom then tells her other mom friends, and and that builds that business.
That word of mouth. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now those moms may have teenagers or kids. Now you're doing their family pictures,
senior photographs,
senior photos,
whatever. Yep.
And then those seniors then turn into brides, right? That then have kids. And
it just rolls.
The cycle
starts,
right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I said all that to say, I guess that's where the customer service was kind of started, right?
Thinking in the future.
Yeah,
dude.
Right. This one family session could lead to so many other things.
Yes.
And the same thing now with haircuts. This one kid, this one 6-year-old kid, could lead to a whole basketball team showing up or whatever, right?
Absolutely.
So it's easy to understand that now because people repeat it a lot online and they hear it. But until you instill it and practice it and really focus on, hey man, the person in your chair, you don't have any idea what they can unlock.
Yeah,
right? When it comes to your business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess that's where the customer service came in early on, and I've made the mistakes like, oh man, I made a mistake and I'm trying to avoid customers. Right. I did that 18, 19, like early on. Right. And I just didn't like the confrontation. I didn't know how to handle it.
Heard.
And so after you get over that and figure that out, it's just easier to tell the truth in the beginning.
Yes, it is.
Or to fix the problem.
In the beginning.
Ahead of time.
Yeah,
or be
absolutely.
proactive about the problem and not, I hope you didn't see that. That kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think a combination of those experiences, that mentality or that outlook, then that pushes, okay, now every business is customer focused. Okay. And customer focused means the service comes secondary, right?
So basically, so the whole culture of care and growth and stuff like that kind of started through photography.
Absolutely.
Something that you learned being in business very young, where you have to, because that is a very, just like barbering, but almost maybe more, I think that is very customer service based.
Yes.
Like on a different level than just cutting somebody's hair, because you got to please more than just one person, right? Yeah. So being that you had to focus on that and you were successful in it, you were able to bring that over into the barbering world.
Yes.
And that is something that I've noticed that sets you apart from other barbershops, is that this is more of a culture of care, culture of growth, meaning that I'm thinking 5 years that, like, let me be nice, let me be cool with you, because hopefully you'll tell everybody else that I had a great time here and we'll come back.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that, because it's something that I've learned working here too, is that I had to learn how to, this is the first, I've always worked with people. I was a public service, I was firefighter, military, personal trainer, so service industry, but I was always I was in charge of it. Yeah. Like, you had to listen to me. I didn't have to listen to you. Yeah. Then moving over into the barbershop, I've had to really adjust that. Yeah. because I had this whole thing where I had to learn how to give more and not feel like I'm getting taken advantage of. And that's a personal thing from whatever came up for me. But I've actually learned that because I've been in other shops before. I didn't learn that at other shops.
Yeah.
But I've learned that here because I've been given the space and also have seen those things exercise. And I'm the oldest dude in the shop, and I just learned this.
Yeah.
So that just, for me, that also feels good because I'm also learning.
Yep.
And I'm not stagnant. Because the last thing I want to be is a grown ass man that can't grow.
That's right.
That's horrible.
That's right. You get left behind.
I'm not trying to do that.
That's right.
So dude, I love that. So what do you do to involve the shop into the communities?
So,
do you have any plans to do more?
Yeah, early on we did a lot, and I say early on because when we opened the Barber Supply, I had to take a step away.
Yeah, you did.
Step aside,
of course.
Right? And that business exploded, and I had no idea that was going to happen that fast or to that level.
So let's sit on that though.
Okay.
What did that feel like?
It was crazy.
Just bring us through the first. I mean, it opened in 2021. So bring us through those first 4 years.
So the first day,
he said the first day.
First day we had a soft opening for 4 hours, and our space was done. We just kind of told everybody on social media like come out or whatever. Had some drinks, I think. And I don't even remember. I don't remember what we had because what I do remember was our systems were not in place yet. Our checkout systems. We thought we had it figured out,
but it wasn't.
It wasn't ready. We weren't ready, and we weren't ready for a few things. We weren't ready for our systems, and we weren't ready for the crowd that showed up.
So problems, but
yes,
damn.
Yeah. So 3 out of the 4 hours, and I remember this. I remember still doing it. My head was down into a laptop. Right, back then we were using iPads.
Yes,
and both registers were just deadlocked on the iPad. Like it wasn't moving fast enough. We didn't,
Damn.
I didn't get to say hi to hardly anyone because I was it was just crazy.
Got it.
And then the last hour, finally, I was able to kind of break away and say hi to a few people that still stuck around and stuff. And we got home and we were like, what just happened? Like what happened?
We just got kicked in the face,
crazy.
y'all.
It was crazy. It's kind of like those things on Bar Rescue and those whatever they call those. But
hell yeah,
yeah. And it was the timing was everything. The timing was COVID was just people were just barely kind of getting back out.
Got it.
The supply lady happened to close a little earlier than expected.
Got it.
So she had been gone for 2 months.
So it was a little dry out in the streets.
It was a little dry in the streets, right? Yeah. And then people were itching to get back out.
Got you.
Get some normalcy back.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we're like, yeah, come on down for 4 hours and buy some. Yeah, it was nuts. And the whole intent, and again, we were already pushing for education before the doors opened. And now we had a space. So before we would have classes here at the barbershop.
Okay.
And there's 10 chairs here, and I think there's 8 or 9 chairs at the other shop. And after you get a group, there's easily 20 people here just with our shop alone.
Hell yeah.
Trying to learn something.
Yeah.
Right?
Hell yeah.
And in this space, we had a lot more space, but after 30, 40 people, it gets small real quick.
It's real small.
Yeah. And what we also learned or we're seeing was we were kind of training the competition as well. Right.
Got you.
We would open up just a few shops, like a few friends' shops.
Yeah.
And we were kind of training them as well. And a part of me was like I want everyone to do better.
Of course.
And then another part of me was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Heard that.
Now, if you're not down the street from me, not a big deal, right?
But if you're down the street, I got you.
And now we're training, you're for free coming in.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if that makes any sense.
I mean, there's a thing about being nice and kind, but there's a...
So when we opened the Barber Supply, we shifted. And it's like, you know what? We're going to open this up for everyone.
Hell yeah.
And it's not about just
Yes.
It's different when this shop was paying for the bills.
Right.
Paying the bills to get them here.
Absolutely.
As compared to the shop paying it.
Yep.
And obviously there's an incentive, right?
Of course.
You get the more people in the shop, the more stuff we sell.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
And that's kind of... anytime you get more people, more opportunities to sell, it's better for business.
For sure.
So, but the education was not the intent when we did the education. So opening day. We had Stylecraft there, Wall was there. I don't remember. I don't think Babs was there. Yeah, and they all brought like an educator.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And what we did was he just had them at the counter, and they would talk about their tools.
Yeah, yeah.
And Toom was there. And so people, obviously they wanted to come see the store, but they wanted to meet
the people. Yeah, absolutely.
And so it was crazy. So a few days later, I had been emailing or texting with this one influencer that just moved to town. I said, hey, why don't you come to the store on the opening day? We're having so-and-so here and so-and-so here, and we'll pay your day rate, whatever. He's like, yeah, okay, well, my deposit is this. And I said, okay, well, just tell me how to pay it and we'll take care of it. We never responded, right? And I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like,
well, that's
who doesn't want to get paid?
Not only that, that's bad business too, man.
Well, I reached out. I was like, hey, just let me know how to take it. And it just kind of blew me off a little bit. The day comes and goes. And about 3 days later, he reaches out. He's like, dude, I totally missed this. He started seeing the social stuff. So obviously it reminded him. He's like, man, he goes, I'm not going to lie. I overextended myself. My wife got on to me about overextending myself. Like, how are you going to turn down jobs here in town?
Yes.
That you don't have to fly anywhere for. Like,
right.
And after meeting him, I realized, and I think we all have some of this, we don't want to let people down, right? So if you commit to something, and he just overcommitted, and whatever, or maybe
especially when you like what you do,
or maybe he just enjoys committing to everything,
of course,
tries to be everywhere, and it's just not possible, right? So he said, he goes, can I come in and meet you guys? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, we're here every day now. Like,
let's go.
We got nothing to do, right? I mean,
right?
We're stuck here at the store. So we met. We talked for like 6 hours that night, that first day, or it was a long time. It was more than 4 hours for sure. But
hell yeah.
And we kind of got to know each other from both sides. And
got it.
And he's like, I want to do a class here, and I guarantee, like, we'll have like 100 people here. And I'm like, what? Like,
let's go.
Yeah. And so we did, and like 100 people. And not only did they show up, they were there. Like, they didn't want to leave. Yeah. Right. And now we're looking at each other. Now that happened about a month after we opened, maybe 6 weeks after we opened, and we already had a crazy month. We were doing 7 days a week, just because we didn't know any better. Like, right. And the numbers were nuts. Like, we would look at each other at the end of the day, and I mean, literally, we'd leave the house before our little one woke up, or we'd take him to school, go to work. We wouldn't come home till after he was in bed. Our in-laws were living with us. Yeah. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, that's
wild.
Yeah. Like, I understand hard work.
Yeah, of course.
But this is like crazy hard work, right? Like, this is too much for. Like, this is nuts.
It's too much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much. So, I mean, even I didn't work a lot. We got limits, man. Like,
of course,
as you get older, the limits get greater, right?
Yeah, of course.
Your priorities change a little bit. But,
You get a little tired, a little faster.
Yeah. And so anyway, so we had this thing, and we did this class, and people flew in. Like, one guy flew in from LA. I mean, like, I had no idea that this many people were going to show up. Did a great class. Sales were great. I mean, like, again, that's secondary.
You can't beat that at all.
Yeah. And then the social aspect of it was like, okay, wait a minute, who's this guys, and why is this guy here? And
right.
People started kind of seeing the store a little bit. And then about 2 weeks later, maybe about 3 weeks later, he called me and said, hey, you're not going to believe who I'm cutting. And I'm like, no, again, because I don't,
you ain't in there that deep. Exactly.
I'm at a barber show, like, we're trying to, he flips the phone around, and it's Los Cutter from Bablis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Los is like, hey, man, I've been hearing about this store you guys have. I'd like to do a class here.
Let's go.
And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Like, when do you want to do it? And this is on a Saturday. He's like, or this is on a Sunday. He said, how about Tuesday? And I'm like, what?
Like, I ain't got no time to tell nobody.
Who has classes on Tuesday?
Yeah, bro, for real.
He said, how about Tuesday, 10 a.m. or whatever? He goes, I'll make a flyer. And I was like, what? Yeah, whatever. Like, at this point, we're working anyway. Like, let's do it and see what happens. So he made a flyer. 112 people showed up. People were lined up. People couldn't get in. They were standing outside looking in on the windows.
On a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday morning. People came from Kansas. Like,
what?
Yeah, like, it was crazy. And then I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Now you're
seeing something here.
Yeah. We realized, or we felt that the North Texas, or even Texas in general, definitely North Texas for sure, didn't have the barber representation. Like, people weren't coming here to do classes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Austin, maybe. San Antonio, maybe.
Right.
They weren't coming to Dallas or Fort Worth for sure. Definitely not Fort Worth for classes. And all the classes that were being offered were really company sponsored or company.
Okay, I got you.
Company incentives. We're going to have this class for Babas, and I'm going to show you how this Babas clipper works.
For Babas. Got you.
And that's cool at some point, or to an extent.
Of course.
But you want to get to the, man, tell me how
sold.
Tell me how to be better.
How do I do my stuff?
My thing is like, how do we be better? How do we raise or change the culture? Not change the culture, or
raise the culture up.
Raise the culture. Yeah, level up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so after that second class, then we were like, you know what? We want to do that, but I don't want to be limited to talking about Babas all day or talking about wall or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So by having those two contacts, we then ask them to reach out to the other educators and say, hey, look, this is what we want to do.
Yeah.
I want to bring this educator in, but I don't want you to talk about, I only want to do a class on stuff that you're passionate about.
Heard.
So people that come to the class, if they want to talk to you about fading, they talk to you about fading.
Got you.
But if you're doing something else, and let's do that. Because if the educator's passionate, and you see it all the time, these educators, I got to go do a show here, here, and here.
Yeah.
It's the same setup.
And they become mechanical, and there's no passion.
Yeah.
And
so the first one we did that with Sophie. And, Babas was like, wait a minute, what are y'all doing? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Because, again, it's not the norm.
Right.
And I'm like, well, we're not normal.
Right.
We're a little crazy.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, let's split this. Let's do Babas in the morning.
Okay.
We're going to have a second one with her here.
Okay, I got you. And give her own space.
Give her own space.
Dope.
And she did.
So that way they get their little box checked, and then she can do her own.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, I love that.
And
dude.
then Babas was like, yeah, that works, and I said, we'll cover X amount of whatever, whatever. And we reached out to her and said, like, look, we just want you to do you basically.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And she said, okay, let's do content creation. And this is, again, 4 or 5 years ago. So her second half was all content stuff.
This is when this is right when she was blowing up.
Yes, just right when she was kind of really getting into shooting.
That's right.
And then I was like, hell yeah, like this is what I want to, and does it relate to barbering? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But can you relate it to other industries? Definitely.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think that one sold out faster than the first one, and then it was like, this is what we got to do. Like,
yes, dude,
this is the way to do it. So it wasn't about, let's talk about a fade for 30 times out of the year. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
And barbers, they all feel like they can fade the best, right?
Yeah.
So, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
But let's offer them an opportunity to learn something different.
Different way of thinking,
whatever.
Yeah.
And now they're not all going to take advantage. But of course. But they never, not everyone does.
Not everybody does.
But I wanted to be the place that offered those kind of things,
So you wanted to be known as not just the neighborhood barber. You wanted to be known almost as like, not an educator, but like mentor,
like a source,
like there you go, there,
resource.
A resource. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Honestly, that's super fulfilling. Sounds super fulfilling.
And then, how many customers don't like to get taken care of, right? How many customers feel, they're not buying just a clipper from us. They're buying the whole. They're buying the family. Right? They're buying into your
the culture, your own culture that you're building. Yeah, hell yeah.
So as classes went on, we started shifting and kind of doing some different things with them. And we did that for the first year. And like I said, we probably did 25 or 30 that first year. So we were crazy that first year. Like we did.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's crazy.
It was almost like every one month it was every weekend.
Yeah, bro, that's crazy.
Yeah. And so now people are like, okay, I've seen you guys before because, and this wasn't by plan, but obviously when Sophie's there or Los is there, they're posting where they're at.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And they've got 100,000, whatever.
Yeah,
followers,
bro,
whatever
crazy
those are.
amount of followers. Yeah.
So now people are calling us like, I want to do a class there or whatever. But that wasn't the intent. The intent was strictly to provide a resource for people that wanted to level up.
Well, dude, I feel like that's the best way to be successful. And I feel like a lot of the people that I've talked to who are successful and the most successful, it's from there. It's like, I wanted to provide something, and out of me providing the best quality that I could, everything came. And you're honest. Yeah. You're not doing it just for financial gain. Yeah. So you're putting your heart into it. And then finally, everything kind of sits into place.
Yes.
I love that, dude. So about the industry, what frustrates you about the barber culture right now, since we're talking culture?
I don't know if, I think more so that, I don't know what, this might be a little frustrating to me, but I feel like the educators are kind of saying the same thing. And it's not because they're wrong. It's because the barbers are asking the same questions, right? So they're not making changes. They're not implementing the stuff that's there. So of course the educators have to say the same thing, right? Because the people aren't listening, right? They hear it, they're just not implementing it, right?
That was literally that has been my complaint with classes. It's like what did I say? I said the value is there. I appreciate what you're giving me, but I already have that. Yeah, I need something else. Yes. So it's great value, but not from me. Yes, because I've already been told this 15 times.
And if you've implemented it, then you're past it. But if you haven't, then you're like, you got to sit there and listen to it.
Yes.
So, but that's just a personal thing that's kind of frustrating, because I feel like, man, I get tired of hearing it only because, we learned that already. It's time to move on. Let's move on to something else. Yeah. Let's use you as a better resource, because I know you got
other things to talk about. Yeah, absolutely.
But unfortunately, the vast majority don't implement it. So they're kind of stuck on repeat.
Heard.
So that's a little frustrating. I mean, but again, that's just a personal thing. That's not a personal preference thing. Yeah. That's not a.
Well, these are all opinions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I don't have any man, I wish barbers would stop doing this or nothing like that. I mean, in all industries, in every business, I wish people would stop racing to the bottom.
Facts.
Period.
Facts. But. Especially now in our industry, because of social media and how cool it is, or everybody trying to say how fast you can make money. Yeah. I mean, the zone is getting flooded, dude. Yeah. It's crazy. And I'm just like, but then I think about the statistics, right? I think it's only it's like maybe 30% of people who get their license actually end up cutting hair. Yeah. And it's like a lot of people don't understand, it's not just going in, cutting hair and getting out. Those people might make money, but they're living paycheck to paycheck every day. Yeah. If you really want to be successful, it's a whole thing. It's your customer service. It's your retainability. Yes. It's being able to sell product. It's being able to suggest styles for people, styling their hair, not just cutting it, adding in, not just being a guy who can cut hair, adding value, being of value. Absolutely. I think that's something that I'm trying to strive for right now, is being of value to people. I want people to, when they think about me as a barber, I don't want people to just be like, oh, that's the dude that cuts my hair. I'm like, that's Lightweight, my homie. Yeah. I talk to him about things. He gets me right. Yeah. He suggests things to me. I suggest things to him, and we work things out. I try to build relationships. I think that's my frustrating thing about barbering and the culture, is that I wish people spent more time trying to build relationships with their clients as opposed to just getting their money. Yes. And that's frustrating. And again, personal. It's personal. That's right. Because there's plenty of people out there that don't do that make way more money than I do. So, but I get it. So, speaking about barbers, and I guess transitioning it to younger barbers, since we're talking about people who are coming into the industry, what do young barbers misunderstand about ownership if somebody's trying to open up a barbershop? I mean, even for your 30-year-olds, what is that something that people misunderstand?
I think the first thing new business owners don't really think about are, taxes. The sales tax, regular employment tax,
payroll taxes,
those kind of things. Yeah. It's not just about what you pay in rent and what your products cost. So I think if you can tackle that early, and figure out a solution to that before you start opening a business,
right,
you'll be a lot further or a lot less stressed.
So you're not getting new shit. Yes. Oh, I have to do this. Yeah. Every year you have to repay your licensing for the building, fucking all of that stuff.
That's right.
Right.
So get with a tax professional, get with someone to get you a plan, so that when you run into these, you know what to expect. If you can afford it, hire someone from day one, so that you're not trying to guess at these problems. Because whatever they cost, it's still going to be way cheaper than what's going to cost you to tackle them later 2 years down the line or whatever.
Right.
And just the stress alone, So, if it takes you, 2 days to kind of clear all this mess up or whatever, you lost 2 days of generating income.
Facts.
So why don't you focus on, or I always suggest focus on, let me focus on the haircuts. And I'll get somebody else to focus on the paperwork or the detail, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Divide
and conquer.
Yeah, be open to help and be willing to skip the shoes that week or skip the shoes that month and use that money to pay for someone's services, just to make things a little bit easier on you. Now, this is a long time ago when I was doing this or started. There's probably a lot more options now that are free when you're talking about AI and type of things like that. Right. But when I was doing it, there was none of that. Just had to hire somebody. And I just knew that I wanted to focus on the person in my chair and focus on, creating a space that people wanted to come to, right? Barbers and customers. The last thing I wanted to focus on was the tedious stuff.
Right.
So let's give that to somebody. And so I would start there. Figure out a plan. Yeah.
So what I hear is basically, and I'm learning this about myself too. It's like learn your weaknesses and learn your strengths.
Absolutely.
And if you have to pay somebody to fill your weaknesses, it's better to do that than fail in the future and save a couple bucks.
Absolutely.
I'm learning that hard. Yeah. Like, don't go to the homie to get your stereo installed. Go to the damn store and get a warranty. Yeah. Exactly. That thing. Hell yeah. I love that, man. So when it comes to your individual shops and managing them, what do you look for in clients, and what do you like vibe or something? Because I remember when I first came here, I had just moved to Texas, found out I took a job at Supercuts, managing the Supercuts because I needed a job. Yeah. And I walked into the Barber Supply and you were up there and I was just telling you, Barber just came to town, And you were like, do you want to work for me? And I was like, what the fuck? Like I was super like not ready for that. Right. And I was like, so what do you look for? Do you sense something? Do you feel something? What is that?
So I feel like a good person when you meet them, right? Some good qualities. Do they know how to speak? Do they have common sense? It sounds really easy, right? But
it's not easy.
It's not easy. Yeah. And even at the Barber Supply, I'm really trying to get to know everyone. How did they hear about us? Are they from out of town? Are they in town? It tells me a couple of things right off the bat. Like, I'm new here. I've been doing this, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm bringing all that in, and I'm going to try my best to remember it to the next time you come. For sure. But there's just certain times when you're like, man, this guy looks pretty sharp, or I think he fit in well. And then that's when I've kind of extended, like I think we have a space that would work for you if you're looking for something, Dude. And the last thing we want to do is take barbers away from other shops or whatever.
Of course.
Like we've never
trying to poach people or whatever.
I'd rather bring someone in that doesn't have any bad habits. So almost like an outsider. Yeah.
I hear that. And then you can mold them.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
As compared to, man, I'm going to just try to get the best barbers from every local shop. And then they come in and nobody gets along.
Then you're dealing with a bunch of chiefs. I hear that.
So, when we first started this, commission was not normal. And I don't even think it's that normal now, but
should be.
It's definitely shifting. But there was a bad stigma with that, right? Yeah. And I get where it came from. I think it came from when people were doing $10 to $15 cuts, having to do a split commission.
Dude, that makes,
you're right. That's horrible. That's not the way it's supposed to, or not. I get it. it's different now. And what I personally tried to do is put our shops in areas where there's maybe some disposable income.
Heard.
You know, where homes are, you know, at the time when homes are, you know, 150, 180, I wanted to get them in where they're 350, 400s.
Heard.
Right?
Yep.
Those customers, and I don't know if, again, this came from photography and stuff, or it's just business stuff, but I realized that when I was getting booked in advance, like a year in advance, and my whole year's up before we even get to the year, a couple things. I'm either that great or I'm too cheap. And
Interesting.
maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Right? And again, supply and demand stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So, and what I realized was as I raised my prices, I didn't get any slower, but I got a different group of clientele.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And what I got were people that were like, you know what? We're paying you to do this, so just do it. We're going to pay you to do you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Where when I was starting and I had the lower packages or the lower price point, I felt like they were just really on me every step.
Bro,
you know,
man.
And which stifled the creativity, right? And really limited you. So I learned very early on, like there's a group of people that will pay for a service and trust you to do that service, right? And those are the customers that I wanted.
Yes.
Right. So I wanted our shops to be in those areas, those customers that I thought existed. And that's kind of where I decided to put shops.
Yep.
You know? I was never, you know, I hear people say this all the time, and they're all young kids, but I want to stay in my community and get back to my hood. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not.
Yeah. And if your hood is on the lower income base, there's on a grand scale, on a larger scale, for the most part, you're not going to have people coming in and dropping in a tip what they would pay for a service.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You know, if you're charging $20 a cut, and again, I'm kind of dating myself, you might get 25, right? Or if you're charging 15, they're going to leave at 20. It's just convenient, right?
Absolutely.
Where if you're charging 60 or something, you know, 10%, 15% of 60 is a whole lot higher
That's
than 10 or
15%, bro.
20 or 15.
Yeah, bro.
So I wanted to get in front of those customers that were going to pay or willing to pay something a little higher. So, and so when I got out of barber school, I went to work at a shop. That's kind of what they attracted. So I kind of found a pretty good base. Yeah. And then just expanded on that. But that's kind of where I decided where to put the shops and the customers that I really like to target. I just want to target people that trust us to do us, you know? So
it's kind of like for these young people who are trying to open up shops, it's like look in the mirror, see who you are, see what you want. And if you, depending on where you're at and what you want, put your shop in that area.
Yeah. Where are your customers?
Yes. Who are your customers?
Figure out who your customers are.
Right.
Let's put a shop there.
Right.
Right. So when I'm in here in the shops and when I was in here cutting and I'm talking to people, and even when I was cutting and not talking to our barbers, I'm going out shopping, I'm going to Target, I'm going to wherever. Right. You know, I'm looking around, I'm like, why aren't these people coming to our shop? Right. If they're coming to the neighborhood Target that's in our neighborhood, why aren't they coming to us? Interesting. Right. And I still see that today. Like, I feel like if I am in this group or targeting this group, I should be seeing them at these places that I frequent, right? And if not, maybe I need to frequent different places. Yeah. Right? You are who you surround yourself with. Exactly. That's what I'm hearing. I hear that. So I don't want to be, and this is not a good analogy, but you know, back in the day, people would be, oh, that's just the lawn guy, or that's just the pool cleaner, or what, you know, whatever, to these different jobs. Yeah. I want to be, oh, that's Edward. He cuts our whole family. Yes. Or whatever. Dude, right? Yeah. So, he's got a shop or whatever, but he'll cut our whole family. He cuts my dad. Those kind of things. That's the relationship I wanted to have. I hear that. Not, that's just the guy that's the dude that chops my head. Yeah. And I feel that a lot. And that's one thing that I like about here is that, man, like I cut people, for instance, man, like I cut this guy who's like
I don't know, he's like a VP or something at JP, some crazy, I would have never met this man, right? This dude sends me memes.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is crazy. Sometimes the people that are on my phone that I communicate with now, I'm like, damn, this is crazy.
Yeah. and what's even crazier, they're just normal people.
They're just normal. And they want to be, the biggest thing I've noticed about these people, they want you to be normal.
Exactly.
The more normal, I talk to these dudes, like I talk to you, like I talk to just anybody that I have respect, that I have respect for, right? And I just talk to them like a friend, and they loved it.
Yes.
Because I'm assuming it's just because they get treated
absolutely
by like wherever they are in their life. And when they were able to sit in the chair and just be themselves, they're just like, I'm here every time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I love that.
So that was my goal as far as where to be. And then also look at yourself. Like, am I where I need, or surrounding myself with the people that I want to kind of kin to or whatever. If not, let's figure out what that is.
And that's a big lesson. That's a lesson that I personally had to learn, is that I used to always think that, your parents tell you, hey man, be careful who you're hanging out with, because you're going to be those people, right? Yeah. And I remember being like, nah, I'm not like those people. Now that I'm almost 40 and I look back and I'm like, damn, I wasn't as bad as them, but I was just a better version of them, because I was exactly who they were. I'm like, shit. Yep. So you are, and I try to drill that in my kid. I try to drill that into any of these young people that I'm talking to. Like, you got to be able to, you have to pay attention to who you're surrounded with, because they're going to leak into you. Like, you're going to emulate those things, and they're going to emulate you too. Yeah. So what does it look, now let's go to, like, we got the gist of everything out. So what's next, man? What does the district look like in the next 5 years?
So I think, we've kind of got our barber supply kind of running on a somewhat of a system. I consider a system when I don't have to be there.
Okay, gotcha.
So I still have to be at the supply, so it's not quite there yet, but we're getting closer. And now I'm getting to the point where, now we can open up some shops and not really think about it. Okay. We can open up some locations and not really like stress about the functioning of the shop. Of it.
Right, right. Because you have a base now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I have the time to pull away if I need to from the supply to kind of tweak the shops if needed.
For sure. I mean, that goes to, like, you revamped the website. You've done all of these. Actually, man, it's been nice to have you back into the show, because I've been here for about a couple of years, and you haven't been focused here just because you have other stuff going on. Yeah. But now that I've just seen in the last 2 weeks, and everybody's just been like, this is how Edward used to be. Yes. Like, before he had the shop, this is who he was. And I was like, oh, this is fucking dope. Yeah. Like, the man's on it. Like, it's cool. I really enjoy, I don't mind working for people as long as that person is worth working for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't mind making people money as long as that person is worth me making them money. Yeah. Like, if you suck as a person, I don't care how much you pay me, bro. Right. I can't be there. That's right. It's just not how I'm built. Some people are like that. Yeah. Sometimes I wish I was like that, but I'm just not. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, like, they're right. This is the way, but I was here in the trenches with them. Like,
you were.
And I would never, I'd tell everyone, like, hey, there's these numbers you can hit for these incentives. And I would never put those in there if we weren't hitting them already by ourselves. And so, that's what's up. So when they say, it's just too many cuts. No, man, we've done it. We've done it and did it consistently.
Hell yeah.
And it's not because our cuts were better. Like, I'm not the best barber. I'm definitely not the best barber now. Cause
it's been a minute.
But in here, I wanted to surround myself with barbers who were better than me, because I knew I couldn't cut everything. Right. But I knew I had a solution for those clients that were looking for something that I could offer. Right. But on the flip side, I really kind of took pride in, you're not going to out hustle me on retention. Right. And on customer retention. That was my focus. So the way I looked at it was, if I'm going to spend any time here, it's going to be cutting. I don't want to be here for 3 hours just
sitting around.
Yeah. Not that there's not other stuff to do, but ultimately we're here to cut. Yeah. And, of course. And I want to make sure that my time here is being well spent, because I got to spend that time at home, or whatever. Right. So, so that was the goal, right? Is keep you as efficient as possible. And it's probably a little tough when I'm in here and I'm like, dude, get off your,
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
That was probably a little tough to sit next to or whatever, or feel. But it was only to make you better and make you more efficient and
motivate.
Help you grow to this person to where you don't have to be here 7 days a week, 6 days a week. Let's get you down to 3.5, 4 days a week.
And be able to make as much as you did in that time.
Yes.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely.
And the people, shop owners be like, man, that's crazy. Like, why would you try to get someone to work 3 or 4 days a week? Well, then we can fill the other 2 or 3 days with somebody else. Like, it's not that the shop we're trying to lose out. It's just, hey man, like that lifestyle, 4 days or 3 days, making the same, being able to hang out the other 4, like that,
be with your family.
Money can't buy you that.
No, dude.
But
see, I think that also has to do with the fact of being of age, right?
Absolutely.
Like I know me, I'm about to have a baby, and my first baby is about to graduate high school at the same, and it's giving me this weird ass perspective right now of like time, because I didn't, time and I think the most important thing now for me is time.
Yeah.
Like money is great, but I think money comes second.
Yes.
To time.
Yep.
Absolutely. I'd rather sacrifice a little bit of money to spend some time and make some memories.
Absolutely.
Kind of thing. I want to optimize. It's about optimization of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to go too far into this because we could talk about this in another time, but I do like what you said, because I know I've come into contact with barbers that are always, they want to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the, freshest cut, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Why don't you, and they look at me like, why don't you want to be the best? And I'm like, because I don't care to be the best.
Yeah.
I just want to be great.
Yeah.
And I want people to sit in my chair and enjoy my time.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's nice to hear you say that, because not a lot of people, if they have that opinion, they don't say it.
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel about it. I want to be the best. I want you to sit in my chair and know you can get great quality haircut, but also a great conversation and a great time. And it's about you, not about, and I guess maybe, and this might be wrong, but it's almost like, I almost feel like when you're trying to be the best, it's not about the customer. It's about you being the best.
Yep.
And it's not about your customer having the best quality, because it's more about you having the best quality. You're not making sense?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I don't think that's bad or wrong.
I don't know if I can really expand on it, just because I never thought that way, right?
Yeah.
I always thought. So I've seen some great barbers, and they spend a lot of time, and hands down, the cuts are 10 times better than mine, right? But I'm like, man, I don't want to. We just have different value or different values, different goals.
Yeah, different goals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to sit with the same person for an hour and a half cutting their hair, right? I got things to do. Mm-hmm. So, but I can see that barber's perspective too. Like, it's got to be perfect. It's got to look Photoshop walking out the door.
Hell yeah.
And I get that and I respect that. I'm just not that barber.
Yeah, that's just not me.
Yeah.
And I guess it's nice to say, and I think it's important to say out loud, because I know I struggle with that personally, because I felt like that made me wrong in the industry or something, or made me less than. Yeah. When I'm like I said, it's just nice to hear somebody else say that, who's been in the industry before, who has the same.
Yeah, we get different perspectives.
Exactly. Yeah. So when it's all said and done, what do you want to be known as? Do you want to be known as like a successful businessman, or someone who like impacted people's lives?
I don't know if I ever thought that about stuff like that. One of the barbers mentioned that a few years back, before we opened the supply, he said, you kind of have a hand in quite a few barbers' success around here. And I've always felt when you're working here or working with us, and I tell everyone on their way in, like, hey, like our intention as the shop is, you'll probably be here about a year and a half tops. Like, and again, I think I'm talking to myself, right?
Right.
If it were me, I'm only going to be here a year and a half tops, and so my intent from day one has always been, let's use you while you use us. Mm-hmm. We'll help you build the clientele. Mm-hmm. Technically, you're paying a commission. People, again, we're just had that stigma about it. Yeah. And it's not a secret. You're using us, we're using you. And then a year and a half, you go open your own shop, take your clients, whatever, it's all good. And so a few of them did that. And so as a few did that, that's when the barber's kind of like, you kind of have a hand in everyone. And I'm like, look, man, like this is the way this is an opportunity. And one of these days it's not going to be an opportunity anymore. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. You just outgrown that opportunity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you can learn something here to help you build something and move forward, then we've done our job. You know, I feel like that's our purpose.
Yeah, dude.
In helping people grow.
Absolutely.
He wasn't trying to say anything bad. It was a compliment. It was kind of like it's crazy how many people you've impacted just by them working here to.
Absolutely. I've seen that.
And in my head, like there's only 2 or 3 that went out and opened a shop. I was like, well, I'm slacking because I still got 9 other barbers that aren't moving on.
Yeah,
right? They're sticking around and again,
it's because you make it too nice for them.
Well, and it's also because they're not me, right? I was talking to. I had this customer every Friday, and we were very similar, and we'd have these same gripes about. Like, I don't know why people aren't moving on, like opening a business. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why people just can't work,
Understood.
Like,
yeah.
Cause I work 24/7 and that guy works 24/7 and like the brain just doesn't stop. Right. Mm-hmm. And he said, I had the same issue and I was telling a boss or telling I forgot, maybe another business owner. Ultimately the answer is it's because no, they're not you. And you can't change them.
You can't make somebody be who you are. Yeah.
And I think Basio kind of referenced that a couple of years ago when he was talking about the barbers. You'll have some, and he called them, burger flippers. Like they're consistent. They're in there doing what they're supposed to be doing, but that's all they want to do.
That's all they want to do,
right?
Yeah.
And then you got the other ones that are like trying to build shops or trying to build, and I forgot what he called them, but when I heard that deal, that's kind of like, okay, I get it. Like not everyone wants that.
Yep.
Some of these want to go home at a certain time and just cut everything off.
Yep.
And as I've gotten older, I'm kind of like, that's nice to be able to go home and not answer text, not answer phone. I don't talk to anybody till the next day at 9 a.m. when I come to the shop or something. And so that I kind of went on a tangent there, but that's the plan, right? When you come here, I want you to learn, I want you to grow and go. That's what I want you to do. Now, if you grow and stay, that's cool too. But as a shop, we're not trying to hold anyone. We're not trying to hold customers. I think back in the day that was a thing.
There's so much hate. So what you're saying right now is the exact opposite of what it's been, right? Yeah. Like people would hate on people when they would leave, just take their clients. Yeah. Like they did not want that. They tried to sabotage them. Yeah, it was bad.
Well, when I left the first shop, I left unexpectedly, and I say unexpected. I left, and a customer would call up there, and they'd be like, "Yeah, we don't know where he went. Like, we don't have his number."
Yeah.
Like, all right. Like, you got my number.
Well, a lot of these places you sign in, like, what are those little deals?
NDAs and stuff.
Yeah, NDAs where you can't work within a mile of the shop or something for 6 months or something.
So, again, back to going to customers, the customer wants to go with you, let them go with you. Let the customer go where they want to go, right? And don't make it tough, don't make it awkward, don't make it weird. If you left the shop and someone came in looking for you, we're going to give them your number.
That's what's up.
Like, here's his number, here's his social.
Go figure it out.
Yeah. Go. He'll take care of you or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It's just not worth the stress.
Heard.
Right?
Heard.
Why don't you focus on, and I'll tell myself this, focus on getting more people. Don't focus on, the one or two that want to leave or whatever.
The small-minded thinking.
Yeah.
You're thinking small instead of thinking big.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear that.
So
that's pretty awesome. So I hear you are just, from what you're saying, it sounds like you are just doing what you think is right. You don't really you're not in there being like, I want to be known as the person that built people up. You're like, I'm just doing what I would want to be done to me.
Yes.
Or for me.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Like that's fucking awesome. That's the best answer ever.
No recognition.
That's the fucking best answer.
Just take care of people like we want to be taken care of.
I can't say that there's a better answer to that question. And I think that, again, most of the people that I know or that I know of or that I've read about that are successful is that they're just doing what they feel that what they would want to be done for them.
Yeah.
And that, fuck yeah. So I guess to leave it on this, man, like, what do you have any big plans for this year?
So plans change every week, right? So,
fuck yeah, fair.
Now I've got some plans. Yeah. Like if you're asking me right now, yeah, let's open 2 or 3 shops,
Hell yeah. Next week.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm constantly looking at spaces as I'm driving around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just what's interesting, what would work. But 2 months ago, and still, there's still a point where I'm trying to get on the water more, right? How do I make that happen?
Yeah.
Or how do, so it's just this week, that's what I'm focused on right now. Let's see if we can ramp this up again. Like I said, I'm kind of getting some relief from the supply. We've got some good people in place and systems in there. So now I can focus on the barbershop more again, and kind of shift a little bit. So that's where I'm at. But you ask me next week, man, I can be back on the water.
Be something else.
Yeah. So
that's what's up.
I definitely had the ADD on that.
Let's go.
Now the other stuff, I think I'm okay on. I think, but when it comes to businesses and those type of things, I'm constantly like, man, what can we change? What can we improve? Where can we be more efficient? And that's just that never goes. It has never gone away yet. So.
Hell yeah. So last question. What is that one thing that you tell yourself whenever you feel like you can't keep going, or whenever you're tired, or whenever you're struggling? What do you do to make yourself go?
I think I run into being tired more often now.
Okay.
I don't feel like I struggle with something in particular, but I definitely get tired, right? And I think it's just thinking too much all the time. Mm-hmm. And I feel sometimes that when I do get to sleep, then I come back and I'm like, now I can think some more, or now I'm refreshed or whatever, right? I don't ever feel like, man, this is a struggle and I hate it. So I think just the joy, or this, I get the satisfaction from people getting some benefits, or like if you're thriving at the shop, then we're happy.
Right.
So I don't know what the word is for that, but to see people doing well, fulfills us.
Yes.
Or me.
Yeah.
And if I can have, again, just a small piece of that, we can be a part of that to help you succeed by just 2%, 5%, whatever that is. Yeah. Then we're content, So
it's like when you're tired, it's almost like I hear when you're tired, or when you hit that point, you think about what you're doing for people and how the success that people are having because of you, and that keeps you going. Does that make sense?
That almost kind of sounds very egotistical, I think, right? Like,
I don't think so.
No.
No. I think that to me, it sounds like from what I heard in that statement, it sounds like whenever you get tired, you think about how you're providing for people and the opportunities that you're giving. And when they succeed, you're like, if I don't keep doing this, then these people can't keep succeeding.
Yeah.
And that gives you that drive to keep going.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I hear. And I don't think that that's egotistical at all. If anything, that's the opposite of that.
Yeah. So, it's just like, if people are doing well, I mean, if they're not doing well, then I gotta figure out what the problem is, right? And figure out what the issue is. And you're right. That's the drive to keep doing better. So, I think that's the long way to say it.
Dude.
I think.
Yeah.
So.
All right, man.
Cool.
Well, this was awesome, bro. I really appreciate you stopping by, man.
Sure.
This is my man, Edward. Find him online. He doesn't really have socials like that. So, but Fort Worth Barber Supply, go check him out. Anything you want to tell the people?
I don't think so. We appreciate the support both here at the shop and at the supply. Stop by the supply. You're going to come see me. And that's about it.
Okay. Yeah. All right, bro. That's
cool.
it.
Sweet.